Hey everybody, it's Van again. I know it's been a couple of days since I did the actual breakdown of the electoral map, but I've been reading a little bit about Donald Trump's path to victory, and I was digging around and just kind of playing around with the states a little bit, and I thought that I found maybe two paths that I think he has. I thought it would be interesting to kind of break these down. This is what I would say as this is what I see as like the two most likely paths he has, and I think these are the paths that his advisors, that his campaign leaders are kind of planning on and planning for and looking at, and you know they're going to angle their advertisements and their campaign appearances accordingly to try to push in one of these two directions. So for this one, I went ahead and opened up the same map we used last time, but this time I have it set to where 538, Nate Silver's site, currently has the race standing, just because I think that'll help us along a little bit. Now remember, this map only lets us go all the way red or all the way blue when I start clicking on things, so there's not a lot of gray area here once we start going. So let me just quickly show you where I think this is where they have the race right now at 290 to 185 for Biden, with it looks like Ohio, North Carolina, and Florida all too close to call there. But let me go ahead and show you path number one that I think Trump has, okay? We're going to go ahead and say North Carolina for Donald Trump and Ohio for Donald Trump, because I think that he has to have both of those. I mean, you know, no Republican has ever been elected president without Ohio. So he has to have those two. I can't see any scenario where Donald Trump wins re-election if he loses North Carolina. I don't see it. And Ohio's probably the same way, because in the last couple of elections, Ohio's gone from being, you know, the Florida of the last few years to being basically the Missouri. In other words, it's gone from completely purple to leaning quickly toward the red. And that's what it's been doing. I think Iowa as well. And I'm just going to make these a little bit darker. I think these are all states that Trump has to have. Donald Trump has to have them. Now, path number one is the most obvious because it's 49 electoral votes in just two states. I think that the number one path that the Trump campaign looks at for victory is winning Florida and winning Pennsylvania. Okay. They also, under that scenario, let me see, they need the one electoral vote from Maine, and they need the one from Nebraska. Oh, Lord, there's that tie again. The tie keeps popping up, doesn't it? No matter what I do, we keep getting that tie. I feel like I may be missing one somewhere, but and then maybe Arizona. Yeah. I think that they really feel like they have to win Florida and Arizona to have a real chance. And then you throw in Pennsylvania, and that's what's going to do it for them. 280 to 258. So that's the Florida-Pennsylvania route, with Florida being the absolute must-have for their campaign. Now, I think so that's the Florida, Pennsylvania, with them holding Arizona. I think the other route is that they don't win Pennsylvania, but they pick off a couple of these other states like Wisconsin and Minnesota, right? And now it's 280 to 258 that way. And in fact, if they do that, oh, there's that tie again. I keep coming up with a tie. I don't mean to, I promise. But the one quote that I heard from a Trump campaign official that was quoted yesterday was, they don't believe. They said that basically, if they win Florida, and I guess they mean that they're assuming they'll have Arizona as well. I think that really, even though Biden's been ahead in Arizona, the Trump campaign basically has to assume they're going to win Arizona, because if they start thinking they're not going to win Arizona, then they don't think they're going to win the election. So they have to assume Arizona. Then they say the key to everything is Florida, right? If they can win Florida and that 29 votes, then the quote was, we don't think Biden can sweep the Rust Belt, right? Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota. If they get Florida, they don't think there's any way Biden's going to get all 4 of those. And if he doesn't, then he loses, right? If he gets 3 out of 4 but loses Wisconsin, he loses. Extremely close, but he loses. If he gets 3 of them but he loses Michigan, he loses. If he gets 3 of them but loses Minnesota, he loses. If he gets 3 of them but loses Pennsylvania, he really loses, right? So that's their path, is to win Florida, hold Arizona, and then count on not a sweep of those 4 in the Rust Belt. That's why they're putting a lot of money into Minnesota, trying to make Biden play defense in a blue state. It's why we've seen all the stuff we've been seeing in Wisconsin with the vote by mail, and the Supreme Court there has been all over it. They're doing everything they can in the Trump campaign to try to hold on to one of those states. Because you remember in 2016, the Trump campaign was able to win all 3 of those states plus Florida, and that's why he was able to beat Hillary Clinton by almost 100 electoral votes. Biden is currently leading in all 4 of them, and in Arizona, and that gives him a pretty good win. At that point, Florida doesn't even matter. But to kind of wrap it up and to sum it up, I think that Donald Trump is counting on Florida and Arizona as his absolute foundation, okay? And then one of those, and Pennsylvania's the biggest, but he'd settle for Michigan. He'd even settle for Wisconsin or Minnesota, and a squeaker. But of course, if he wins with Wisconsin or Minnesota, he's going to need that other electoral vote from Maine, and if he doesn't get it, we got a tie. And if he doesn't get it and he loses the Omaha, Nebraska congressional district, Biden wins in a squeaker. Imagine that this election could come down to one of those weird little congressional district electoral votes in Maine or Nebraska. How strange would that be? So anyway, there's the Trump victory right there. That's the one I saw a couple of months ago. It's still, I think, the most likely, although honestly, lately, Trump has been doing better in Pennsylvania than he has been in Wisconsin. So there would be the number. All right. So just something to think about. We're 45 days out. I just was supposed to be a little quick episode to fill you in on Trump's 2 paths to victory. We'll wrap up there, and I'll be back probably next Wednesday with a look at the latest polls and a whole new evaluation. All right. So take it easy.